Welcome to the podcast. Súbele volumen. Conversation with the people who were with me. In the world of TV. Carlos tonight. Historias de un reportero. Carlos tonight. Dale que viene lo bueno.
Hey, bienvenidos and welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for listening and, of course, for watching. I do appreciate your support. Before we get things started, I want to invite you to check out my website. That's carlostonight.com. There you can find more information on the podcast, see upcoming guests, and, of course, check out past episodes. This week, I want to introduce you to a successful entrepreneur. He is Pier Ramirez. He does a lot of fitness stuff and real estate, and he's going to be doing nonprofit work, or he's doing nonprofit work right now. And we'll get to all of that in just a few minutes. But first, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me here. You know, it's a pleasure to share these experiences and knowledge to everybody who's watching. Maybe this can be serve as a purpose and or inspiration for anybody who wants to take action too.
And tell us, you're from Peru. Mm-hmm. How long have you been living in the Dallas, Fort Worth area?
Wow. Well, I moved here when I was 16 in 2011. So I think it's been 11 years. And I just, like I was sharing earlier with you, I've been living in the same city of Plano for 11 years. And yeah, I mean, I love this place. I love Dallas. I love the people that live here. Pretty friendly, I guess. And I don't have maybe a strong reason why to move out of the state. Maybe Florida because of the weather, but...
Yeah, we were talking a little bit ago about how yesterday it was about like 80 degrees, and then today it was like 33.
This is Texas, man. One day you're super warm in your bed, you're ready to go, you're wearing shorts, and you step out of the side of your house, and then you get back right in and change completely, like wear a coat and scarf and everything because the weather just dropped like 20 degrees.
It's insane. So let's talk about personal training. That's something that you enjoy doing. And what was your first introduction to, lifting weights?
Wow. So we have to go back all the way back in Peru. So I guess that I have always, liked and to do any kind of like physical activity. I was always big into sports, and more precisely into soccer. But I used to be really skinny. I mean, if you guys follow me on Instagram or any social media, you guys are gonna see that the body that I have wasn't the body that I used to have. And that kind of like, it was something that I guess that it was just. I won't say like it was something born from me at first because my friend took me to the gym. He was like, hey, maybe you need to put some weight on. Let's go and try it out. And then the first time that I did, I just fell in love with it. And then after that, as I have shared this story before, and a lot of people probably know about this, but I used to go to a local gym near home, and I used to clean the gym just to get free access to it. That's how much, free membership. That's how much I loved it, because my dad was always into like, Pierre, you should study first, you should get done with school, and gym thing. He used to call it the gym thing. You can do it over the summer when you're like on vacations. But I was like, Dad, I'm going to study, so I require a little bit of money, for like transportation. Back home, it's not like here you can just grab your car and then get going. You have to take public transportation, so I was lying to my parents maybe for like a couple of years that I was going to study to a friend's house, and I was just going to work, technically.
Your goals, back then, you were trying to get bigger and fit?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of like just to be a little bit, I guess, bigger, not in the sense of like muscular, but maybe like a little bit heavier. I was too light to play soccer. And for that position that I used to play, I needed to be a little bit heavier.
So you played soccer pretty much all your life?
Oh, my God. All my life. I mean, if you're from Peru and they tell you like, yeah, man, I'm very good at golf. I mean, they're probably like BS, it's probably BS. But
so it's either the military or play golf or play soccer.
I mean, yes. I mean, for me, it was either going to the Well, no, in Peru you have a few other sports that are very popular. I mean, volleyball, soccer. Man, what else? I think that's the two main ones in Peru.
And you were talking about earlier when you got fit, you started getting attention.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the instant gratification that a lot of people get. And that kind of helps you and boosts your confidence too.
Motivates you.
Right? Motivates you to keep going with this. Once you start feeling like if you're a guy, right, and you start wearing your shirt and then all of a sudden like your arms start getting more fitted on the sleeve and then you're like, oh my God, like I got some muscle going on now. And or you're a female and then you see a little bump, you know, your glutes are looking better or your shirt or your back defines or whatever. I mean, these are just things that you're going to notice, and more likely people that loved you, people that are around you are going to be like, hey, you're looking good. What have you been doing, you know?
Secret.
Like, what's the secret? I was like, oh, waking up 4 in the morning.
Yeah, they don't know.
I'll forget about it. No, but, and then people are like, oh, wait. And honestly, it is funny how it works sometimes, but because of the hard work that you do, you might motivate the people around you. And it's like, and they're very, if they're very good at receiving that energy and that like kind of like, you know, vibe from you, they're probably going to stick to it too, because, oh my God, like if Carlo was able to do this, why I cannot? And they're like, Dad, let's go to the gym together, you know? And then maybe, you know, another friend, and then it's like a carousel. And yeah, back home, it was my friend who invited me to the gym. And that's how I got started, kind of. I never had really the intentions of signing up for the gym, but I knew like after the first time that I went there that it was something that I really enjoy doing.
And tell me, what led you to open up your own personal training company?
Oh, that's a tough question. Because, I mean, like I shared this with a lot of people that asked me, I mean, what kind of lead me to open my own fitness brand? If there's a lot of fitness brands out there, it's just the principle that they so how can I put this into easy words? It's just basically like the principle that we, or our philosophy that we believe, right? Unfortunately, there is a lot of, I mean, the fitness industry is nasty. I mean, I have to be honest with you. I mean, growing up, I learned everything about fitness. My life was all about fitness since the age of 14. I'm 27 now, so I've been doing this for a long time. And I remember, we're not going to say what the name of the gym, but after I got my certification, you know, it's like the first thing you want to do is just go get a job as a trainer, get some experience, get a little bit of like, how does it work here? And to start off, like the numbers were not, they didn't look good to me from like the clientele perspective, from the client perspective. The amount of value that they were providing for clients wasn't the right one. And the commitment that the coaches had with their clients wasn't really, it was just like, I think like when you have something that you do with passion, anything in life, you really want to do the extra step. You don't do it for the money. If you're really in love with what you do, it's a different kind of fulfillment. And that's when I knew like I had to do something different. Because you cannot change somebody's life. I mean, going to coach them for 30 minutes twice a week, you know, and charging them like $1,000 a month.
It's insane.
I mean, for people that can afford it, hey, congratulations. I mean,
usually all that money goes to the gym and not the personal trainer,
and
right?
that's the thing. If you want to be a personal trainer, that's probably the worst. I'm not saying it's the worst mistake. You can get a lot of experience working at the gym. I think like if you want to try it out and get like, you know, your feet wet in the industry, maybe the best way. But if you're trying to make a living out of that, like I said, we're not going to discuss too much numbers, but figure it out yourself. I mean, what works for you. But to me, it was just like, why is that you guys are taking all of this money if we're doing all the work? So, I mean, the industry is nasty, like I said. So I step out from that meeting, and I was like, you know what? Today I'm creating my own fitness brand where we can actually teach people. We can actually like help people to achieve better goals.
How did you get started with real estate?
I think it was because of my. So it was a kind of like really interesting way because I wasn't really. I never really had in mind, like, Pierre, I think it's time to diversify. Let's do something else in fitness, right? And I never really put time and effort researching what other things I could do. It was just kind of like meant to be. Like, first of all, I got surrounded by, like, some of my clients were into like the real estate business, and it was just small talks. You know, if you're a banker, you probably have something to share about like that life. I mean, if you're a dentist, you know, and then just from talk to talk, and then I started learning things little by little. And then next thing you know, when COVID hit, my business partner actually was the one who started it first with this Airbnb business that we do. So we do real estate. We buy properties or we get them for rent, and we work with like landlords where we Airbnb their places or our own real estate that we buy as well. So he started it during the pandemic, and he played it so nicely because a lot of people were like feeling a little bit more comfortable staying in a private place with maybe more space, their own bathroom. The kitchen. You have just more things going on Airbnb than a hotel, and people had to still travel for work or vacations or visiting stuff. So that's when the Airbnb business started getting really, really good. And I was just, a little skeptical during the beginning. I was like, man, I don't know if this is going to work. So he started doing it first. And then he started doing it, and then he was actually pretty successful at that. And that kind of like lead me into like, you know what? I mean, why don't you come and share your ideas with me and tell me how this is working out for you? And he did. And then since then, I mean, Sean, he's my business partner. I know him for like, since we started this business in 2016. He's my actually partner of my fitness brand as well. So we started doing this together, and I trust him to death, like, and he said like, hey man, I think this is something that you have to do too. And then we started doing it together as well to like look into it, learning. We, of course, there's a lot of trial and error in anything that you do with yourself. And then I was so thankful to have people also around me, and I start surrounding myself with like people into real estate, I mean, and it's funny how it works because when you're kind of interested in certain topic, then all of a sudden you start having these people coming into your life with somehow they're related to what you want to do. And I have one client that I used to train on 101, and she is big into real estate. And she was the one primarily who actually had a lot of like teaching aspect. She did a lot of the teaching aspect. I was asking questions and she was telling me, and then I got started like that. You never know. I mean, I never really look into it, but it was something like that. And then now I'm doing it full time. My business is called Red Carpet Properties, and we're doing very good here in Dallas. So sooner or later, we're trying to go over different states and then trying to provide the same kind of quality service for the other anybody who.
So you do a lot of videos on Instagram, showing people like you can actually fix it by yourself, so you don't have to waste money, right?
Yeah, probably a lot of my friends who are contractors and like they do like small kind of works at the house too. They probably hate me, I know, but as a matter of fact, my electrician reached out to me and he was like, Pierre, I mean, you're doing an amazing job sharing this knowledge, but man, I mean, that's
you're taking business.
$150 for me, man. Come on. So yeah, I mean, I love to, incentivize, maybe like promote like this kind of like things in the internet. It's not really that hard. And I'm not telling you that you need to be like very good with your hands. Changing a filter, changing maybe like the extractor from your bathroom. Maybe it seems a little complicated, but like when you actually get down to do it and you have the patience for it, it's pretty easy. And yeah, like I like to record it, show it kind of step by step, what things do you need, and then when people see it, it's like, wow. And I just paid somebody like $100 to come and do it. And
I feel like a lot of people go to YouTube anyway to look for, how to do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you're kind of doing like helping them.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people probably like go into YouTube, like you said, and I do a lot of that stuff too. Like, I feel like there is a lot of my inspiration comes from like YouTube and stuff like that. I just YouTube like how to do this, and I'm like see it a couple times, and then I was like, okay, well, if I do it wrong, then I call somebody. But if I try to do it and I nailed it, then I get to do it multiple times. Like, so
So do your friends call you and say, "Hey, can you come over and I need
oh my
help?"
God, that's has been a thing now. It's like Pierre the handyman. And I don't have no problems. I love helping people. And I guess that will lead me to, like, sooner than later talk about like the nonprofit. I just have like always had the urge to help people that maybe didn't have the possibilities to do things, to get stuff. And that's kind of what motivates me. But I mean, my friends, like they're like, hey, Pierre, like, if I can save your buck, doesn't mean you guys are gonna call me from now on. But if I can save you some money and I can do something for you, like absolutely, I'll do that.
And speaking of helping people, a good segue, and you're mentioning it earlier about your nonprofit. What was the idea behind it? And what is it first?
Yeah, so the nonprofit that we have in Peru, it kind of like the way that I look at it is like, and I seen it happen here in a lot of like maybe in a lot of places. I'm not saying that Peru is a developed like country, it's still developing, but every time I go there and then I see people just minding their own business when they're walking on the street, I mean, sometimes you walk down the street and you're so busy and so focused with your life or your cell phone or your friend, and and sometimes we don't pay attention to what's going on around us. And every time I go to Peru, I have money specifically that I have saved up. Before we started doing this nonprofit, like, I guess, before we register it and like to the state, and then you get all the paperwork done to actually be a legit nonprofit, right? We started doing this with like out of pocket money, our own money. And every time I will go to Peru, I will save up money, and then out of my own pocket, I will try to like buy toys, food, stuff like that. And then for the homeless people or people that I will see on the streets with kids and stuff like that, I'll like help them out maybe with a meal or with toys and stuff like that. And it's surprising like how many people will walk past by the same people, and they were just like they don't exist, and they're not really in tune with their surroundings. And that just like I don't know, maybe I'm just too over like sensitive when it comes down to these things, but I feel like everybody deserves at least an opportunity to enjoy a nice meal, or for their kids to have toys, or to have to have access to education and books to read and be actually educated. So that's kind of like where my friends and I actually talked about this, and we were like, hey, what about we actually come up with something and we make this a legit business where we can actually get, help from people that want to help our cause, and actually do this on a bigger scale, so we can actually help families and things like that. Like this last Christmas, we helped, if I'm not mistaken, like about 150 kids.
Wow.
So we we rented out this place, and then we were serving like hot chocolate, turkey, and all these kind of things. It was surprising how many families never had the chance to experience what a Christmas dinner is, while drinking hot chocolate and stuff like that, because they cannot afford it. And just seeing that smiles on their faces, and it just hits you differently. It's a different kind of fulfillment, and it was amazing. I mean, seeing these kids just enjoy and laugh and being satisfied and happy with their food and their little toys. And it wasn't even like the biggest and greatest thing, Sometimes growing up, you grow with all these kind of things, and we're just take everything for granted. And there's people out there that don't even have like a soccer ball, And once they get something like that, they're just speechless. Like,
It's sometimes like the little things that mean a lot.
A lot. And it puts into perspective, and I think that has to do a lot with like the way that I do business too. Like it's just those little things that will like help you have better work ethics, how to set up very good relationship with people. Because if you're really down to earth and you know what's going on, you're probably gonna be making the right decisions most of the time.
How proud do you think your family is of you?
Oh my God, I think they're really proud, especially my dad. I always have issues with him. Because it's kind of strange. It's really strange seeing people to just go on the streets and literally like give this kind of stuff to like most of like the homeless or it's not even homeless, but there's just families with low resources that are selling candy with their kids and stuff like that. So, and this is nothing to bargain. I'm sorry to brag about, and this is nothing to like show off or anything like that. Because if you're doing this from heart, then this is what counts. But my dad is like, Pierre, like at this rate, you're gonna go poor. Like how much money? Because I remember this past experience that I had because I went to Peru like for Christmas. I remember buying like I don't know how many meals, and which was surprising. And actually, I shared this with my family and friends. I think my nephew was with me. I took this lady who had their baby with her into a restaurant. And the first thing that people do were trying to like, oh no, I'm sorry. Like they were trying to kick her out somehow because they thought that she was coming in to sell her products. So they don't want to have that kind of like crowd inside of the restaurant. And I was like, hey, she's coming with me. Mm-hmm. Like, and everybody was kind of surprised about that. And I told her, as a matter of fact, her entire family is on the way. Because I was like, hey, do you happen to have a family? Like, yeah, they're in the other corner. I was like, call them because I'm going to get you a meal, right? And there's this thing, it's called like, I mean, the roastery chicken. I'm pretty sure everybody have tried that before. In Peru, it's called pollo a la brasa. And it's like a very common thing that people like to eat. It's like French fries, roastery chicken, your salad. And then you have your Inca Cola, which is our like...
Oh, I love Inca.
Yeah? Okay, so that's our like soda, right? That goes with everything. And she told me that it has been at least 10 years. She told me like it's been 10 years that I haven't tried a meal like this. When I heard that, honestly, it hit me so hard because for most... I won't say not all of them, but for most Peruvians, getting a roastery chicken is very easy. Like, it doesn't cost, it's not too cheap, neither too expensive, but I think everybody has access to that. And just hearing that is like, 10 years you haven't had that? I was like, you and your family can take a seat here, and I'm going to order whatever you guys want. You guys deserve this. And then my nephew was just speechless too because it's a different kind of like love and return that you give to society. And I think like if you act like this with love and everything, good things will happen to you. Not all the time, because I don't know why bad things happen to good people sometimes, but most of the time life will get you back, will pay you back for the good things that you do in life.
Fantastic. Seems like you have a big heart. And so
I try to. I tried.
Everything you do is going to go back to you, like you said. So congratulations on that. And then what else I was going to ask you about? I forgot. But anyway, thank you.
Yeah. So, I would like to share that sooner than later, we're coming out with a website and all the details about like how anybody can donate from anywhere that you are. We're trying to get the legal documents, ready to go, so people from here and from anywhere can start donating. You don't have to, if you want to travel to Peru and be part of this experience with us, you're more than welcome. We need as many hands as we can. But if you just are super busy with your life and and you just would like to still contribute and see like that your money is going towards something, like I think it's a very noble cause. then you can do it.
You mentioned that like even a small amount is like a huge.
It's huge. Yeah, I mean the conversion rate is like if you donate even $100, it is 4 times right now there, and we can do a lot of it, a lot of things with like $400, and that's a lot of food, that's a lot of clothing, that's a lot of like toys for the kids. So I mean, think about it. That's just $100. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody has spent $100 going out to drink or dinner.
Starbucks, McDonald's.
Oh my God! Right? So I'm pretty sure we can do something about
Netflix.
that. Netflix. Oh.
Now I remember what I was going to tell you. So on your Instagram, you have a quote that you put on recently, and it says, "Try not to become a man of success, but rather try to become a man of value." What does that mean to you?
You know, that's something that I really thought about, and that's exactly kind of like contrasting what I'm doing right now. It's like a lot of people sometimes, and then this is for anybody, entrepreneurs and everything. I mean, I guess when you're trying to achieve something in life, a lot of people pursue money. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, all your efforts have to be compensated. But I think that most importantly, it has to come like the value that comes with it. Like what kind of work are you doing, and what kind of value you're providing with that, with your business, right? Because, and before I get deep down to that, I feel like, because a lot of people ask me when they want to start a business, they tell me like, Pierre, so what is the first steps? What can we do right now so I can start my own business? I want to do something like you're doing. Apparently you're doing very well. I want to do something like just like you. And the first thing that I tell them like is, why is that you want to do something like is working out for me? And that's something that I go with a lot. Is like, do not replicate, innovate. If you're going to be replicating what I'm doing, like let's say, right? I mean, you're doing a podcast. Maybe you know more about these kind of like things than I do. Maybe these things is working amazing for you because of your personality. Like, you seem a pretty cool guy to talk to, you know?
I am.
Right? You are. That's the reason why I'm here. So, but maybe in my case, if I'm trying to do my own podcast, maybe I don't have the same hit. Maybe I'm just a different personality. I don't know too much about this, and I was doing it because of the money or whatever comes with it. Then I'm going to fail. And when you fail by doing something, you're going to feel like that you're like completely failure and you're not worth of keep doing and pursuing your dreams. And that takes a toll. And it's very hard to get up and then do this again, right? So what I tell people is like trying to find a niche where you enjoy yourself doing it, where you have passion, that when the business is not doing well or whatever your ideals are not going the way they're supposed to, then you're okay with it because you're doing this for a different purpose, a different value. So especially man or woman, I mean, either or, I mean, if you're chasing to be this super, very powerful individual that has access to everything because of the money and everything, but like, yeah, I mean, what things have you done with your life or in your business that you have contributed back to society? What kind of value have you provided? And I think that's really something that I'm trying to achieve on the day-to-day. It's like, if I can help people one way or the other, and somehow I can, I mean, believe it or not, I mean, if you pay attention to my business, it's everything customer related, like dealing with like people, you know, it's a lot of like customer service that we do, changing people's life through fitness and making people really happy when they come to stay in our properties that we have. It's like cater to all their needs. I mean, one way or the other, we're giving back, and now with this nonprofit, it's huge. So I'm really happy that you paid attention to that quote because, I mean, I feel like not a lot of people really pay attention to things like that. They're more like enthusiastic about seeing the latest dance on TikTok. Mm-hmm,
mm-hmm. You're a good lip singer, by the way. I saw your TikToks.
I see. I try to keep up with like certain things. We have to like mix it up a little bit. You know?
Exactly. Follow the trend, right?
Otherwise, you're obsolete.
Yeah, exactly. So you're very inspirational, and I want to wish you the best in everything that you do. And hopefully someone out there is inspired and wants to be, you know, following your footsteps. And so where can people find you?
Thank you so much for having me here. And if you're watching or listening to this podcast, I do really hope that you took some value out of this. I'm just super thankful that I have the opportunity to talk about my experiences and the thing and how I see life. That maybe people are out there not ready to take action, but then somehow something clicks. And if you're that person and it's happening to you right now, then don't think twice. Go ahead and do it.
By the way, you're the first Pierre that I've ever met.
Really? Well, my name is Pier Luigi. And I don't know what my parents were trying to do there.
Pierre Luigi, like the whole
thing, one name.
I saw that in your email.
I was like, I don't know. I still questioning my parents why they still come out with like very specific name. It caused me a lot of issues in high school. I end up with like having like a bunch of different nicknames because of that. But
my mom wanted to call me what is she? It's Herman in English, but in Spanish is Herman.
Herman.
Yeah. So I'm glad she didn't. I didn't want to be called Herman.
Yeah, they did a very good job at that. But I'm happy with it. It's very unique, I guess. The more I start growing old into like an adult, I was like, actually, my name is not that bad. But I still go by Pierre because I tell people Pierre Luigi and they're like, huh? So.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for your time. Thanks for being here. God bless you. And have a good one. And you're always invited.
Thank you guys for watching this episode. And make sure to subscribe and stay tuned with everything else coming up.